Hi, I'm Nico and welcome to my channel. This video is sponsored by Rise of Gunpla, the first Bandai shop in France. So today's video will be part 1 of a 2-part series. I usually try to finish a project and have it in a single video, but this one has been stuck in limbo for a long time now. 10 months to be exact, and I figured it's best to get it out of the way for now and just share with you guys what's happened. So I've had this idea to customize a Gunpla by letting you guys, my subscribers, to decide the main decisions. So in a way, we're customizing a Gunpla together. So I did a series of polls on my community months ago, and the first one was, what Gunpla kit should I get? With 41% of the votes, the MG Gouf version 2 won, so that's what I got. So I haven't built the older version and I probably never will, so I can't compare the upgrade and what changed in this newer version. But I can definitely say that it's one of the sturdiest master grades I've built so far. I love how big it actually is and how it's got no problem standing on its own. It's also pretty affordable for a master grade. I got this one for around $32 and it's definitely worth it. As someone that tends to customize most of my kits, I like how easy it is to remove the armor parts from the frame. I didn't have to use a part separator and all that since the armor parts are very easy to slide in and out of place. And usually, things would get flimsy when you repeatedly remove and put it back together, which is unavoidable when customizing. But for this kit, it stayed solid, especially the legs, which is one of the areas where I spent a long time taking the armor apart and putting it back together to check. So I would definitely recommend getting this model even if you have no plans of customizing. It's just a very solid kit overall. Like I mentioned earlier, this video has been shot so long ago that my work area looks completely different than what I have now. And my hair is also longer. And the reason why it took this long and it's still not done is because this was supposed to be my last custom build before I work on my GBWC entry. That's why you'll see in a bit that I kinda paid more attention to the customizing part because this was technically the kit where I practiced and prepared myself before working on my contest piece. As I was about to start painting, GBWC announced the deadline for their contest, and I figured it's best to get started right away so I have more time. So this project ended up on the sideline for quite a long time. I was able to pick it back up after my contest piece was done, but it took me a lot of months before I was able to work on it again. At first, I wasn't sure how to go about this kit and how to customize it since the design is a bit tricky. It's always been harder to design a Gunpla that's a bit on the round and curvy side, unlike a Gunpla with more edges to it, where you can just slap some flap plates and it will look cool. But after building and getting to see what I have to work with, I kinda just started scribing and adding flap plates here and there. I didn't have a solid plan, but I just knew I wanted to incorporate a bit more flap plate work in this build, and not just scribe the heck out of it. As you can see, I did not do a poll asking whether you want me to customize it or not, because it's not even a choice for me. I immediately just start customizing. I can't ever just build and then paint my own model kits. I don't enjoy that. I mean, for commission builds, I'm fine with building and then simply painting right after, because it's not my kit and I don't have to look at it forever. But personally, I just have to add details and customize when I'm working on my own model kits. Plus, I'm sure you guys would vote for me to customize this kit anyways. I think that's a no-brainer. Actually, it's been months since I customized something like this, as I've been doing a lot of different non-Gunpla projects. So editing this video and seeing how long it takes to customize a model kit makes me miss it just a little more. I'd say after the work that I did on the Cubely for my contest piece, this one is my second build that I really like in terms of the customization that I did. I'm pretty proud of how this turned out, and I got to enjoy pla plates a bit more and understood how to use them a bit better now. So I think moving forward, I'll be incorporating more pla plates on my builds. And also, I scribed a lot of hatches instead of the usual nonsense panel lines that I do, because I wanted to practice making better notches and using wider chisels. And also, I feel like scribing in hatches makes the overall design look more realistic, and it just makes more sense instead of scribing zigzag lines just to fill up the space. I also learned not to scribe too much and overload the design, which is great because that also means I don't have to scribe a lot. So yeah, this kit has been where I tried new stuff and learned more about how I want to design my builds moving forward. And also, this project is the first time where I did a cast iron effect and added some metal mesh to the armor parts. The cast iron effect is pretty simple to do, even a beginner can do it because you just need some putty like Vallejo plastic putty and then stipple it on your desired area with a dry brush. I actually have a PDF tutorial about this on my Patreon, link below if you want to check it out. As for the metal mesh, this one requires confidence because you have to cut out or hollow out an area for the mesh. And if you have a mini grinder or an ultrasonic cutter, this would be so easy to do. I think it would require a little more cleanup and care compared to using a chisel or a scriber. But aside from that, I don't see any downsides. I mean, if I have an ultrasonic cutter, for sure I'd use that instead. Before painting, I like to soak my parts in some water with a bit of dishwashing soap. Sometimes I scrub it with a toothbrush if I know that there's some sanding dust left in the crevices. But mostly, I just let it soak and then rinse right after. Some people like to use an ultrasonic cleaner for this step. But I find that most of the ultrasonic cleaners are too small for the parts, so you have to do a round 2 for the other parts, which just takes a long time when you can just soak it in some water. So I just don't do that. But of course, it's up to you. For an HG kit, an ultrasonic cleaner would work well. Anyways, we wash the parts before painting so that the primer will stick on better, because the oil from our hands will interfere with the primer. And now for the painting part, deciding on the color scheme and the style of painting is a big decision. So of course, I had to do a poll about that. For the painting style, you guys wanted to see me do modulation. So this is something I've done on a couple of kits before. It's basically doing a gradient like a blue on top and then it becomes darker as you go down. Modulation painting is quite fun and easy to do, so I'm glad it won the poll. But also, I'm surprised that it won because usually people prefer just flat base colors or with a subtle post shading. But yeah, modulation painting won, so that's what we're doing. And of course, I also had to know what colors you want me to use. Choosing the color scheme always takes a long time, so doing a poll for this is helpful. You guys chose military colors for this one. A military color scheme is something I haven't done before since I usually prefer brighter colors. So this was new to me. But it also gave me a hard time because I had to choose colors that would look good with some weathering over it. So I couldn't do super dark, dull colors, which left me with a limited palette. I ended up doing military green for the overall look. So I use a bunch of green and grays for this build. The more colors you use for the gradient, the better, because it will look seamless. So using 3 or more paints when doing a gradient or modulation is best. But for this one, since I'm going to do weathering over it anyways, I just use 2 colors for the modulation. And by the way, if you want to see me do a tutorial about the different painting styles that you can do with an airbrush, let me know down in the comments below. As much as I'd like to finish this video with a completely done model, with a completely built model, I just can't. I still have quite a bit of work left to do on this model because you guys voted for a weathered build. So for now, this is all you're getting. And so that's about it for today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Part 2 of this video is where we'll start with adding decals and weathering, and maybe even a diorama. So subscribe and click the bell button so you know when I post new videos. And before I say goodbye, I just wanted to let you know that I have a Patreon account where I post daily updates, tutorials, and exclusive videos, and more. Another way to support the channel is by using my discount code Nico Suratos to get 5% off your next purchase from Rise at Gunpla. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Bye!